all of this qualitative functionality right in NetRisk, but you might have, like I said, some data already in Access or Excel. And the good thing is that you can bring that over into NetRisk without a problem. So let me open up an example here that we do have. We have about 8 risks and some qualitative properties, some quantitative ranges. So what I'd like to do is show you how to bring this into NetRisk in just a matter of seconds. What we'll first do is set up some buckets for us to get the risks in. So in this case, we'll just create 8. And we got 7, and we'll create 1 more. And next, we want to tell NetRisk that whether it's a threat or an opportunity, because this is going to, again, define what probabilities, what impacts are going to be available to all of our risks. So we can do this really quickly. We do have a fill down. If you're coming from other scheduling software, you'll find it really useful. So we'll go ahead and fill down the category. We'll set them all to threat. And now we're ready to bring in the data. So we can do this a couple ways. We can bring it in, let's say, column by column or row by row, or we can bring it all in at once. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's say first we want to bring in all of the IDs. Very easy, just select it in Excel, do a copy, come over to NetRisk, and right-click and choose Paste. And this data will come in. You can see refresh here. And this is really nice if you just want to go column by column, you want to check the data. Maybe you don't want to worry about the order of the columns. Next, what I'd like to do is just bring in, let's say, all my permitting, my permitting risks. So you can start to bring in risk, one risk at a time. And for this, what you'll want to do is just make sure the columns are in the same order. So I'm just going to check here, ID, description, category, strategy. We've got, I can even pull up Excel right here. And of course, this is just so we want to make sure the data is going into the right area. I mean, this is kind of like the mapping that you would do on your import. So we can just kind of validate visually here that, we have strategy, impact rating, we've got cost, that we get to our quantitative probability. We've got a distribution minimum selected max. So see, here's some that I don't need, low percent, high percent. You can see I could just click it and drag it to get it out of there very quick. We don't have to open up any windows to customize our columns. So I think you're going to find that very user-friendly. And then we've got some here for the cost, distribution min most likely. So I think we're good to go. So in this case, we'll go ahead and select our first row. And like I said, this is really useful if you just want to bring in a couple risks, not the whole register. So we really have a lot of flexibility. We can copy the row, and then we'll come back to our ID. We'll right-click and choose Paste. And it'll bring in the row of data one at a time. And you see a much better description than the one I put in there originally. So that's great, but let's just do the whole thing now. And really, it's the same process. We'll go back to Excel, and we can just select the entire grid of data. And we'll do a copy. And again, we just want to figure out which column we want to start with. So if you remember in Excel, I started an ID, so we'll start an ID. I mean, if I only brought description and to the right, then I would start in description. So it does matter where you're putting the data. So let's go on ID, and we'll do a paste. And this feature was actually requested from our SMEs. They were used to this coming from some other tools. And I have to admit, it's just really nice. It works really, really quickly in NetRisk to bring in, a risk register from another tool.